Hello and welcome to part 1 of the video presentation of Lean Management. My name is Michael Morrow, and in this presentation we will introduce the concept of Lean Management. In part 2 of this video presentation, we will briefly introduce several of the more well-known tools of Lean Management. So what is Lean Management? It is also known as Lean, Lean Manufacturing, Lean Administration, Lean Services, or even Lean Health. Lean Management also is known as Just-in-Time, or JIT, and was made famous by the Toyota Motor Company in the 70s and 80s, as a result of their success in the United States during this time. Many consultants and manufacturers have critiqued Toyota's success, and the term Lean Thinking was coined in the early 90s as a result. Lean Management is a philosophy. The underlying premise of Lean Management is understanding what is of value to the customer, aligning all thinking and processes within the organization to maximize the value of their products and services in the eyes of their customer. We're not necessarily talking about cheap products, but what we are talking about is ensuring the quality of the product or service provides, meets, or exceeds the expectations of the customer. Ensuring the speed or velocity of providing the product or service meets or exceeds customer requirements. Having flexibility in your processes to rapidly react to changes in customers' requirements and market conditions. Managing the cost of providing products or services by reducing wasteful practices and streamlining of processes. Having sustainability in one's business by having repeat business as a result of your customers valuing your products or services over your competitors. Sustainability in terms of the environment also, as a result of reducing wasteful practices, which has a flow-on effect of reducing power consumption, yield, emissions, and so on. Coming back to the premise of customer value, a term that is used in Lean Management is value adding, or VA, and refers to any activity or process in an organization that the customer is willing to pay for. Invariably, value-adding activities transform the product or service in some way. It could be in the form of the product or service, in terms of its shape or features provided, for example. It could be combining things together, such as in assembly processes, or it could be the performance of the product or service, especially compared to competitors. The opposite of value-adding activities are non-value-adding activities, or NVA for short. Non-value-adding activities are any activities that absorbs resources, such as labor and materials, but does not add value. The cost of these activities is generally absorbed by the organization, impacting profit margins. Non-value-adding activities can be divided into two categories. The first category is known as non-value-added but necessary work, or also known as incidental work. These activities offer no real value in the customer's eyes, but are needed to get the job done. Examples include supervision, labeling, and packing. Lean efforts focus on reducing these activities as much as possible, however, they won't be eliminated. The second category is known as non-value-added wasteful work, or simply known as waste. Like incidental activities, these activities offer no value in the customer's eyes. However, the key difference is that they aren't needed to get the job done and should be eliminated completely. Examples include double handling of product, waiting for approval to proceed to the next step in a process, excessive distance to transport material in a factory. In order to maximize value-added activities in an organization, the focus of Lean efforts is to eliminate or at least reduce non-value-added activities. Remember, we briefly mentioned Toyota earlier? From their Toyota production system, 3 Japanese terms have been adopted. Muda, referring to the term 8 wastes. Murah, referring to the unevenness of workloads. Muri, referring to stress or overburden. The most well-known category of the 3 M's is Muda. Originally known as the 7 wastes, an 8th waste has been added in the last decade or so. The first of the 8 wastes is known as defects. Repairing defective work takes time and is costly as it wastes time, material and labour. Examples include order entry errors, rejects and rework, missing information. The most serious of all wastes involves producing things before it is required, Overproduction uses extra resources and storage space. It results in more storage and double handling. Waiting for resources is unproductive time with no value added to the product or service. Not utilizing potential is essentially untapped human potential. This may involve not asking for people's opinions on how to improve their own work. It also includes not utilizing people's skill or talent. This is the 8th waste added to the original 7 wastes. Transportation involves the movement of materials and paperwork. An example would be storing supplies far from the point of use. Inventory is too much of anything and any form of batch processing. Motion is any unnecessary movement required to perform a task. Examples include excessive reaching and bending. Excessive processing is any effort that adds no value to product or service from the customer's point of view. Examples of excessive processing include excessive packaging, grinding unseen welds, reviewing a document multiple times. These terms form a handy acronym to remember them by. Downtime. The second category is Murah, the waste of unevenness. The result of unevenness of demand creates many of the 8 wastes we discussed earlier, as it puts unfair demand on processes and people. A classic example of unevenness is where a manager is driven by monthly targets of production invoicing. With uneven demand, the first 2 weeks of the month may be light in terms of invoicing, wasting capacity in manufacturing during this time. As pressure mounts to achieve the monthly target, additional resources like labour and overtime, for example, will be applied to ensure the production is completed before the end of the month, and hence invoiced. The result is the hockey stick effect, as can be seen in the graph on this slide. The third category is Muri, the waste of overburden, and is the unnecessary stress imparted onto employees and processes. This stress is caused by poorly trained employees, improper or poor layout, cluttered workplaces with poor housekeeping, a lack of proper tools and equipment, fluctuating demand of products or services, known as you may recall as Murah, poor maintenance of tools and equipment, unreliable processes resulting in rejects and rework, poor transfer of information resulting in incomplete or incorrect communication between employees and processes. We've reached the end of this video presentation. Please watch part 2 of this video, where we will briefly introduce several of the more well-known tools of lean management.